Right, so good morning, students. So for today's class, we'll be looking at malaria. So just one person I'm seeing online, but definitely the class is being recorded for those persons who will be joining the class, or if you don't join the class for the live session, then you can definitely use a YouTube link, which I will be providing you the YouTube link so you can watch it later. If you want to join the YouTube session now, no problem. Right, so we're continuing, we're looking at diseases, so malaria, and definitely malaria, it is nothing new to persons definitely, of course, should be familiar with dengue, should be familiar with malaria in terms of disease. So malaria is caused by an organism, a microorganism that is known as protozoan. So that's definitely the protozoan is the microorganism. And if you want to be more specific, plasmodium. So plasmodium is a definitely type of the protozoan that it actually fall under. So malaria, it is transmitted by a type of mosquito that is known as the Anopheles. So of course there are different types of mosquito. So it is very important for persons to know the specific type that actually cause it. So it is the Anopheles mosquito in terms of the specific type. So once you're looking at disease causing organism, it is a must that you know which type of mosquito that actually cause it. So that's the first note briefly that persons need to be familiar as to the type of mosquito. In the human body, plasmodium will damage the red blood cell. So right away, definitely, I can ask some persons to tell me how the human body is affected by malaria. So once you're infected with malaria, definitely one of the human body system that this malaria disease or sickness will affect is definitely your red blood cell or the circulatory system. Good morning, Louis. So the circulatory system definitely, if you want to be exact in terms of specific which part of the circulatory system, definitely it is your red blood cell. And now, if this disease going to damage your red blood cell, it of course have serious consequences, and that is simple. And that is simple because the red blood cell have a very important function in terms of your circulatory system. Now, in order for you to move from point A to point B, definitely gonna need some energy. And your red blood cell provide a very important component of the energy system, which is oxygen. So let's say, for example, you would have breakfast this morning. You having breakfast simply mean that you will get energy from that food that you would have consumed. Now the energy don't just walk out of the food like that. It need to be broken down by oxygen. So oxygen is needed in the human body to definitely get the energy out of the food that you would have consumed. So continuing with the notes that is related to malaria, they are saying that they release a toxin. The word toxin means poisonous, which cause fever. So once you're infected by malaria, then it normally comes with a really high fever. So the toxin or the toxic substance that comes with the disease, with that sickness, malaria, it of course increase the human body temperature really significantly. When taking blood from infected persons, the mosquito takes the plasmodium too. So the organism that definitely cause the disease, it is known as plasmodium. So they are saying that if you are infected and you should be bitten by a mosquito, the mosquito will take some blood from your body. So the blood that have the malaria, it don't just take the disease, it also take the organism that cause the disease. So the mosquito will bite an infected person. Yes, I hear you now. Lewin? Yes, no problem, no problem. I can do that. Good morning, Mackenzie. Oh, okay. So you're not seeing the screen. No, the topic is malaria. Malaria is the topic. You join the class late, so that's the topic. But I send it in the WhatsApp. But Lowen, you need to download that. You need to download a app that can read the notes. Oh, okay, okay, all right, no problem. I will send the picture format. I will send the picture format. No problem. Right. So as for malaria, it definitely will cause that high fever, and that is simple because the toxin that the plasmodium produce, it is poisonous to the human body, which definitely cause a significant increase in terms of body temperature. So here we have a diagram now. So the picture basically showing you exactly what happened. So we have the surface of the skin, that is the top yellow section there. Of course, it is being pierced by the mosquito, and it definitely go down into the blood capillary. So once the mosquito penetrate the surface of the skin, then they definitely try to locate the blood capillary, which will be a blood vessel, and that's how they actually get to suck the blood or get the blood out of the infected person, because they definitely search for a blood vessel once they penetrate the surface of the skin. So the plasmodium is passed on to the other person in the Anopheles saliva when getting blood from that person. So again, the mosquito that do the transmission in terms of move it from one person to another, it is known as the Anopheles mosquito. So again, very important, the person should know which mosquito or which type of mosquito is associated with malaria. Because as for dengue, it's another type of mosquito that transmit dengue. Because dengue, again, it is a mosquito transmitted disease. So malaria, definitely a mosquito transmitted disease, and also dengue. It is just that we need to know the difference between the types of mosquito that does the transmission. Symptoms and signs of this disease. So signs and symptoms. So once you're infected or affected by malaria, anemia as a result of red blood cell damage. So if you go to the doctor and the doctor said that you're anemic, it can be as a result of you was infected by malaria, because malaria, again, it damages your red blood cells, and once your red blood cells are damaged, then definitely there will not be enough hemoglobin, a chemical that is called hemoglobin, in your blood, simply because it would have been located in your red blood cell. Fever, definitely will experience or having a high fever, and that is because of the toxin or the poisonous substance. Headache, definitely headache is another symptom that come with you being affected by malaria. Pains, in terms of the pains, definitely you feel a lot of joint pains, say joints like your knee joint, your elbow joint, wrist joints of the finger, the ankle, back, your neck region, all those regions definitely experience a lot of joint pains there. Shivering spell. What I mean by shivering spell, you actually tremble sometimes. So the shivering normally comes as a result of your muscles contracting very fast. So that's why persons shiver, but we commonly call it trembling. So your muscles generally when they contract and relax, your muscles normally vibrate, but not a whole lot under general circumstances. But definitely, once they are contracting very fast, you actually shiver. Yes, I'm sorry for that, students. So my mic went. Right, so sweating. So sweating, now you will realize that once you have fever, then definitely your body temperature increase significantly. Now, naturally, with the human body, once there's a significant increase in terms of body temperature, then your body gonna sweat, and that is simple because the human body would have realized that there's an increase in temperature. So in an effort to lower your body temperature, then you don't start to sweat. So sweating is just an automatic response to the human body temperature increase. When the human body temperature increase, right, there's an automatic response of sweating. So that's why you actually sweat once your body temperature increase, and that is simple because the human body want to make that corrective mechanism. Assist you would have to definitely be diagnosed with malaria. Once you go to the hospital, then definitely they will give you a prescription. So I don't know if person have ever heard the term over the counter drugs. So there are some drugs when you go to the pharmacy, you can just walk into the pharmacy and get some painkiller. You can get some Centrum, some iron pill. Those drugs are called over the counter drugs. Now, prescribed drugs, those are different. You cannot get these drugs unless you go with a prescription. So that's what they mean when they say prescribed drugs. So there's a difference between prescribed and over the counter drugs. Right. So as for the over the counter drugs, those you can anybody can walk in and just buy those painkillers and those. But as for these drugs that you are seeing treatment for malaria, definitely you have to have what is called a prescription. Say that yes, you need these drugs. All right. So again, as for what persons need to know for malaria, first you need to understand that yes, it is a disease. The second concept that persons need to understand what causes it, what is the name of the organism, and it is caused by a plasmodium. So the organism, the name of the organism is called a plasmodium. Just that there is definitely a category, and it fall under protozoan. in terms of the category. For example, in terms of microorganism, bacteria is a category because we have different types of bacteria, and we have virus. We have different type of virus, fungus, and plasma, and the protozoan. So those are the categories in terms of microorganism. So a type of protozoan is definitely plasmodium. So that's what causes malaria. It is how it is moved from one organism or from one living thing to another. It is transmitted or moved by mosquito. And again, as to the type of mosquito, it is definitely the Anopheles mosquito. Because there is a next type of mosquito that is called the Aedes aegypti mosquito. That one transfer dengue. So when we're looking at dengue, then you will learn more about that type of mosquito. But as for the type that transmit malaria, it is the one that is called the Anopheles mosquito. In the human body, whenever this plasmodium enter the human body, it actually affect your circulatory system. Again, as to which part of the circulatory system, it is definitely your red blood cell, and that's again a very serious problem complication once it enter the human body, because your red blood cell is definitely responsible for picking up and transporting oxygen. So once this oxygen supply is being affected, then your energy level will be affected, because oxygen definitely help the human body to get energy from the food that you would have consumed. And the toxin, the fact that it is toxin will definitely cause the human body to develop fever, and of course other signs and other symptoms, and you can have a severe headache. You can definitely having a whole lot of pain, shivering, and the shivering spell. What I mean by shivering spell is that you don't just trembling up continuously. Now and then you see you tremble for this hour, for this minute, you're not gonna tremble again until the next hour. That's what I mean by shivering spell. And the sweating, I would have just explained that yes, the sweating is just a natural response made by the body because there is an increase in temperature. So once there is an increase in temperature, then naturally the human body going to actually sweat. So as you can see, the notes, not a lot of notes for it. Somebody would have asked me to give them the picture version. I'm definitely gonna do that. So next class, I will give you some questions on malaria, and then definitely move on to another mosquito cause disease or mosquito type disease that is known as dengue. So for those persons who join the class late, the video is there for you to click on. The notes, I would have sent the notes in WhatsApp, but some persons don't have the application that will allow them to see PowerPoint. So that's why I'm gonna have to convert it and send it in a picture format for them.